human resources, facilities, operational, and infrastructure.
In the spirit of Indonesian heroes, during the battle in the 10th of November 1945, ITS always makes efforts to be the best in education, research, and community services, especially in the fields of industry and maritime. ITS also actively contributes to the nation development, and in the future, ITS will become an entrepreneurial university with world-class reputation.
ITS has many achievements. Both national and international achievements prove that ITS keeps growing and gives the best contribution to the nation of Indonesia. ITS is a place for new hopes to grow. An ideal environment for the new generation to flourish in 3 strategic locations within the industrial city of Surabaya. As a smart eco-campus, ITS maintains harmony between technological advances and the sustainability of the surrounding ecosystem. ITS has 7 faculties with prospective scientific fields, including Scientics, INSIS, Vocation, Creatis, Martech, Electrics, Plan. ITS is a space for the new generation who are hungry for knowledge because it provides a wide range of references in both physical and digital form. ITS makes it easier for the new generation to access information by providing flexible classes. ITS keeps moving forward in facing future challenges by providing the best facilities for the new generation's activities. The facilities support both spiritual and physical needs. ITS also provides research facilities in the ITS Science Technopark, including ICT and robotics, automotive, maritime, and creative industries. Therefore, the excellent generations from ITS will emerge and make history. ITS is a space for the new generation to express themselves. ITS is a place where the new generation learns new things and finds their purpose. ITS has become a place where the new generations that carry the future will be born.
ITS is a campus of science and technology, which focuses on the research and innovation, presenting technology for prosperity.
With a spirit of heroism, ITS brings the future before us. ITS, the University of Heroes.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start commence the program, and here are the following webinar protocol. For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event. We cordially invite you to take your own firm and comfort seat in your own room, and please avoid the backlight. Make sure that you have a good and stable internet connection. If you have an earphone or headset, we recommend you to use it so that your voice can clearly and loudly to be heard. During the Q&A discussion session, all participants, please use the chat box to deliver the questions. Thank you for your cooperation and consideration. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start commence the program, and here are the following webinar protocol. For each participant ID, please use your real name following with your origin of institution. All of participants are expected to mute the audio and only unmute the video during the event.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the guest lecture series on SDGs today, Wednesday, 9 June 2021. My name is Samara from ITS Global Engagement and will be your master of ceremony this afternoon. Thank you for joining our guest lecture series on SDGs today. Before we start our agenda, let me inform you of some rules for the event. First, please fill your attendance at bit.ly/attendance_GLS SDGs. Our committee will also send the attendance link in the Zoom chat room. For participants who wish to get an e-certificate and stamp for it, please fill the attendance 15 minutes after the session starts. Second, participants who wish to ask questions during the question and answer session, please send your question to intip.in/Q&A/GLS SDGs. The link for questions will be listed in the Zoom chat room as well. Or you can ask directly by clicking the raise hand feature. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest lecture series topic is the integration of real estate for community development from SDGs perspective and residential lifestyle and smart community Indonesian perspective that will be delivered by our speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Noorsidi Aizudin Matnur from University Teknologi Malaysia and Dr. Didit Novianto from Institut Teknologi 10 November. Or ITS. This lecture will be moderated by Ibu Ruli Pratiwi Setiawan, PhD from Institut Teknologi 10 November. Before we start our agenda, allow me to deliver our schedule today as follows. First is the opening, followed by introduction to moderator and speakers, and we will proceed with the lecture session, followed by Q&A session, and then we will go to the certificate awarding, and last but not least is the closing. And before we proceed to the next agenda, let me introduce our moderator today. Our moderator today is Ibu Ruli Pratiwi Setiawan, PhD from Institut Teknologi 10 November. She currently is taking her doctoral degree at the Department of Development Policy, Hiroshima University, Japan since 2016, and she received her master degree in infrastructure planning from Universität Stuttgart, Germany. and Bachelor degree in Architecture from Institut Teknologi 10 November. Her research expert is in city planning, infrastructure planning, and sustainable development. Now, without further ado, I would like to proceed to the main agenda. So, to Ibu Ruli, the time is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Samara, for our Master of Ceremony this afternoon. So, dear all, good afternoon from Indonesia to all of the participants all over the world. I'm so delighted to be here as a moderator for today's event, guest lecture series on Sustainable Development Goals, or usually we call GLS SDGs. And I also here see some of my colleagues as well as my senior lecturers from the Department of Architecture. Thank you so much for your comings and good afternoon. I hope everyone is stay healthy and keep safe. So today we will hear the presentations related to SDGs number 11. Sustainable cities and communities from two speakers. The first is from University Teknologi Malaysia or UTM, Associate Professor Dr. Noorsidi Ayusuddin Matnur, and the second speaker would be from ITS, Dr. Engineering Didit Novianto. And before we continue to their presentations, I would like to read their CV of our speakers today. So the first speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Noorsidi, or you may call it Dr. CD. He is a lecturer from University Teknologi Malaysia. He has received his PhD in built environment in the field of property economics, property and planning, QUT. Queensland University of Technology, and he also holds Masters in Science Real Estate, University Teknologi Malaysia, and also holds Bachelor of Estate Management from University of Malaya. And his current professional position is as a Chief Executive Officer, Magix, University Teknologi Malaysia. And from 2014 up to now, he is as a senior lecturer, Department of Real Estate at UTM. And his research project from 2019 to 2021 is formative the building material on housing through life cycle costing compassion. And I also see here Dr. Didit has joined us. So I would like to continue to read Dr. Didit's CV. Good afternoon, Dr. Didit and Dr. CD. So here is the CV of Dr. Didit. He has received Doctor of Engineering and also Master of Engineering, both from the University of Kitakyushu, Japan. And he holds the bachelor degree from the architecture from the School of Architecture, Planning and Policy Development from ITB. And his current professional position is a lecturer at the Department of Architecture at ITS. And he also has some experiences since 2017 to 2020. He was acting as an assistant professor at the University of Kitakyushu, Japan, and in 2016 until 2018, he was a conceptual designer at Furumori Architecture Design. All right, so I think without further ado, for the first session, I would like to give opportunity to Dr. CD to deliver his speech. You have more or less 40 minutes for your presentation. So to Dr. CD, the time is yours.
All right, Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Ibu Prativi, I think. Should I call you like that? Okay. Okay, so give me a few minutes for me to share my screen, to setting up this one first before I start my sharing. So you can see my presentation slide, right?
Yes, perfect.
Right, thank you. So I will start my sharing session just now. Right, Assalamualaikum and good day to all of you, the audience globally, I may say. Right, thank you to ITS, thank you to ITS Global Engagement Team, and thank you to University Technology Malaysia as well for allowing me to do or to share as much as I can through this series called as Guest Lecture Series from ITS. So again, I would like to all of you to thanks to all of you for allocating your time to hear about the topics related to the integrations of real estate for community development from SDG perspective. So I assume all of you understand very well about SDG, yes, the abbreviations of SDG, or we can recap that one, SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. All right. So thank you to Ibu Prativi as well to have a quick look at my CV and have a sharing about my CV just now. There's there actually a few more project come in, and then more they are related to the issues on SDG. But maybe because of my late updates about the CV, so this is only some information that have been picked up by ITS, but that's good enough. For all of you, you may flip through to the browser and try to search my names, Noorsidi, and you can find my website over there. Then you can see the latest update about my research and so forth. All right. As I mentioned to Ibu Prativi, our sharing, knowledge sharing, I call as knowledge sharing lah today, right? I call as knowledge sharing. So my sharing today is actually to look into few issues that have been gathered from few professional practice as well as my own experience as a researcher, or even my experience just now as a CEO for one of the subsidiaries company for UTM. At the same time, I still need to do my research and so forth and give lectures as well. So as been mentioned just now, sharing session for today is focusing on Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. But then when it comes to the topics, the titles of Integration Real Estate for Community Development from SDG perspective, I may say, maybe not all of you will agree with me, I may say that for the whole in this world, the most important things is related to human as well as shelter, right? Shelter or house. So when it comes to these components, it will also involve the ecosystem of the real estate themselves. So, and when it comes with environments and some resources efficiency and conservations, when it comes to the scenario of looking forward in 2030, it's about 80% or more than 60 billions community will exist in the year of 2020. So all of this will be a crucial thing for us to think and to look into as a preparation for us, right? Why I say so and why I come up with this kind of topic. Yes, when it comes to this topic, right, even as all of you know, there are about 17 items under SDG, and the focus for this, the whole main topic is actually related to items 11. But for today, as I mentioned earlier, that I try to share with few issues and so on, I will try to bring all of you to think about the items of 11 as well as responsible on items 12 as well. So perhaps from this sharing that all of you can maybe do extra research, some more research locally or globally in regards to a few topics related to issues of integration real estate as well as community development. So why I come up with the ideas of this topic? Like the title of the integrations of real estate for community developments is actually because of few keywords. As I put in my slide, if I share with my slide, right? the words of integrations, the words of real estate, the words of community development, as well as SDG, right, perspective. So why I come out with the keywords of integrations. The keywords of integrations actually remind me to the importance of networking, importance of collaborations, importance is about the words of togetherness, right, between two parties at least. So in this topic, we will see about how real estate is important and how real estate must work interrelated with communities, because the at the end of the day it is about community ecosystem, community development, and to maintain the sustainable of this global world, this world, and so on, from many aspects and angles, right? So as I come out the idea over there, so as we all of us know, the world's population is increasing, like constantly increasing, right? We can see the improvement, right? The numbers and so on, right? To accommodate everyone and to make sure that all of us can survive and prosper, right? And because of that, because of these situations, the input of integration, even the words of integration itself, can you develop more idea in exploring knowledge, exploring about the possibility in doing research related to SDG. So for this sake of these sharing sessions, we can see the importance of these two items about sustainable cities and communities, as well as responsible consumptions and productions. Why I try to combine these two items, right? Because what I try to share here is that there must be interrelated between those we as the one that we receive within the communities, as well as the one that we produce, and the one that we need to come out to be responsible with all the developments and productions. So that is why I will try to engage these two items throughout these sharing sessions. Okay, with the big questions, right? I love to use this kind of concept, right? Give questions and then ask myself and then share with you guys, and perhaps all of you can pick up few ideas and during the sessions, as well as during after the sessions. So the questions is that even I found through a few reading, I also found this kind of things. And for this one, I found through Global Wellness Institute mentions and then give this kind of questions. So for me, this also can reflect with our topic today. The questions is that how can we stay healthy when our built environment is working against us? Not just about built environment. Even nowadays, the main issue is that community among us, right? Among us actually working against us and not contributing to help and not contributing to work together. Why I say so, if we pick up with the numbers of pandemic issues like COVID-19, so if all of us try our best to collaborate together to help each other, all of us bear in mind that we are all frontliners. So I'm pretty sure we can reduce that numbers. So the same thing here, because of the topic related to real estate, so we try to engage with the issues related of the environment as well. So how can we stay healthy when our environment is working against us? They provide few points here, right? Which is precisely, that is what happened outside there. And then what have been, as we as a community, among the communities over there, right? Even maybe some of it is relevantly with us, right? Relevant, engagedly with us. So as a number of environment example, with the points of environments, right? The points related to toxic air, water, soil, material, light and noise pollutions, right? Climate change and resource depletions. Do you think that they are not working against us? There is seriously issue over there. Right? Like the few numbers, the increasing numbers of noise pollutions. Even in real estate, there are few studies. Even one of my students also studies related to noise pollutions contribute to the reducing the value of the properties. And that the fact is that, yes, noise pollution is one of the critical factor in reducing the value of the property at that particular venue. So that's one fact. But then how we can go, if you can think more about personal and behavioral, right? Sedentary, unhealthy lifestyle, digital overload and stress, disconnection from nature and heritage. Don't you think so? We are now currently involved with this kind of situation, with this kind of environment. So what should we do next? So this is why I'm trying to share in these sharing sessions about few issues for you to pick up, for you to think. Either you want to test at your place, or you want to run a certain study at your place, or you want to do like observations about few items here. All right. If I may say about digital overload, nowadays we are looking into smart cities, right? We are looking into smart home. We are looking into everything in our apps with a single tap. But how we need to control them? So think about it. So the next point is that about our children and teenagers, right? Childhood obesity, that's a fact, right? Teen anxiety and depressions, also a fact. Lack of independence. So if you notice, even if I may share about me, myself, and my kids, right? Sometimes we can see the lacks of independence because of to struggle, to live, to attach with the digitals. So that is my bad as well, right? I need to accept the situations there. So I need to think about how to get back them to the nature, get back them to the real life, and try to control, try to avoid them to get engaged closely. The next point is about social and community. Loneliness and social isolations, economic insecurity and equality, polarizations and lack of trust. Don't you think that's a fact? So how we need to handle this one? So if let's say I may put about under the real estate, when we are not going to engage any integrations about real estate and community developments, when we pick up about economic insecurity, in these current situations, I may say globally, global world facing a critical or decreasing about the numbers of economic demand because of the situations of the physical engagement in economic activities, economic productions, and so on. Those who are engaged in the digital economy, I'm pretty sure the numbers or the demand about them is increasing, the profit increasing, but are they giving back to the community? That is another issues, right? And then working adult, about long commutes, always on 24/7 work culture, rising stress, unhappiness. With these current situations, all of us, like what happened to me myself, we need to work from home, right? We need to absorb, adapt few nature, few culture, maybe soon become a new culture for this scenario, right? So what we need to do next? How we need to control this kind of thing? And then how community need to integrate with the real estate and the real situations in real estate ecosystem to make sure that our life is happily ever after. So for the next point is about numbers of seniors. Decreased mobility. When it's the numbers, our world is going to aging populations. One of my students graduates already graduated in PhD, looking forward about the ecosystem or the developments related to aging housing developments. So the demand is exactly what we need now, right, towards next coming future. So the design, right, the structure, the layout, the plotting of the developments, everything looking forward to the aging purpose, looking forward to focusing on aging people. So this is another point to pick up and to think about the needs of integrations, real estate in community developments. So for the next one, about urban unwellness, intensive air, water, noise, and light pollutions, overcrowding, lack of tranquil space, luxury versus slums, limited amenities for the non-rich, and suburban unwellness, separations of home from daily activities, car dependencies, sprawl, limited walkability, social isolations, and segregations. So this is what currently happen. So where the integrations of real estate? So how the points of item 11 and item 12 contribute themselves to answer this kind of situations? So this is about the awareness that we need to come out. Because of that, I pick these issues, I pick this issue to share, to make sure that we need to do some things, from the concept of integrations of real estate and and community developments. So there are few points there, the cause of our unhealthy environments. I would like to share. Maybe that's good for you to pick up for few for the new research and so on within your locality. Right. The number one about behavior, lack of physical activities. 25% of adults, I think the number increasing, and 80% of adolescents cost over $67 billion each year in health expenditure in lost productivity. Can you see that with the current numbers, with the current situations of pandemic, the numbers will possibility increasing drastically. Right, 38% of Americans say, based on this research from Global Awareness Institute, 30% of Americans say they lack outdoor spaces in their community to walk or exercise. And even for us, right, if we have a lot of spaces outside there, outdoor, to do outdoor activity, have we do it? Think about it. For the second point, social or community, 25 to 40% of households are single in the United States, Western Europe, Japan, and South Korea. What's happened then? 25% of Americans have no close friend to confide in. Depressions, a leading cause of illness and disability, increased 18% from 20 to 2015 worldwide, and the number increasing based on the latest report from local health ministry. Right, this is based on my additional survey. For the children point of view, only 13% of American children walk or bike to school as compared to 48 in 1969. Australian children spend less than 2 hours a day outside, but 4.5 hours in front of screens. Even you can do directly, if you have kids and so on, you can test directly based on observation from today's point of view. Even to all audience outside there, if you are a single students, right, researcher, can you observe yourself, right? How many hours that you need to sit in front of the screen, your laptop, your phone, mobile phone, even your monitor, desktop, and so on. Compare, you just go outside and then say hi to your friends, maybe because of the pandemic, say hi from gap within 1 or 2 meters, right? You can observe yourself. 2 or 3 of Chinese children do not meet recommended guideline of daily physical activities. So sad with the numbers, right? Environments, a hazardous environment cause 24% of global disease and 30 million deaths every year. I'm pretty sure the number increasing drastically because of the current issues of pandemic. But it's not just because of the pandemic only. Maybe because of the scenario from the awareness from the community themselves, and then the design of the real estate for certain populations, for certain structure, right, for certain locality and so on. So we need to think about it. And population kills about 2.2 million in China, in India every year, and the number increasing as well. Working adults, based on the points of working adults, every 10 minutes spent commuting result in 10% fewer social connections. That fact. That's what happened to my colleague and my environments as well. Right? When they need to commute between their home to their working place, right? 10 minutes or more than that one, they just silence and so on. Prolonged sitting raised the risk of cardiovascular disease by 14%. Cancer by 13%, as well as diabetes at 91%. 33% of full-time workers find it difficult to maintain work-life balance across few developed countries. On the senior parts, from the senior, 63% of older people find it hard to access healthcare, right? Across 32 countries in Africa, Asia, Europe, and Caribbean, and so more. Right? The numbers increasing. That is why currently, because of the awareness from or middle young, right, about our age and so on, they're looking for the coming aging peoples and aging community. They're looking for the best. They try to overcome the scenario of difficulties when they become old and so on. 17% of senior in England have contact with another person less than once a week. If England they call as senior, how about us? We have at least contact a person within a week. So you need to think about it. How about you guys outside there? Those who are researchers outside there, have you talked to your neighbor next to your cubicle and so on? And your friends and our friends outside there as well. Have you talked to your neighbor next to your high-rise floors, high-rise building community? Talk to your neighbor next door. Have you say hi? Have you know what happened outside there? Think about it. And only 1% of US housing stocks is adequately equipped to meet the needs of senior. So do you think the difficulties are coming? For urban unwellness, 88% of urban dwellers are exposed to unhealthy levels of pollution. Yes, with the real numbers nowadays. City life increase the risk of mental illness in children and adults. As well as for suburb unwellness, each hour spent in car per day increase obesity risk by 6%. Suburb dwellers walk less, drive more, wake more, and more likely to be hit by a car. Sprawl costs at the American economy more than 1 trillion annually. So, how about our ecosystem, right? Do you think our ecosystem ready to grab the concept of integrations, our real estate to collaborate together with community needs, right? To appreciate from the angle of SDG. If SDG have 17, are we looking into each items, right, of the SDG to contribute back to our ecosystem, our community, our engagement, our neighborhood, and so on? I love with this figure, right, with this diagram to talk about eco-village, right, greatest milestone, one of the resource, right, that they are looking to improve themselves, to make sure that the whole global world looking forward to achieve this kind of milestone. Right, but for point of view here, I would like mostly to ask about the readiness of our ecosystem. That is why at the early stage of the sharing session, I mentioned that from these sharing sessions, I love to share about point of view. I love to give you issues for you to think, for you to help yourself and your neighborhood to improve, to become better in the future. There are few, if I'm not mistaken, from big ideas come out the challenge about the data-driven solutions to build sustainable cities and communities. They're about a challenge then. The topic that provided by them is actually focused on basic service delivery, sustainable transport, energy, resilience to nature, disaster, climate change, and the last part is actually harmonious urban environments. For me, this is at least a good key point for you to think, to make sure there are integration between real estate and community development, right? So based on this few slides, we can see there are so many critical issues that can be picked up, right, from the perspective of SDG related to our current ecosystem, our current neighborhood between real estate and community developments. So what is happening, right? What is happening outside there? Are we ready to do some improvement? So from here, there will come out a few issues related to real estate, right? And how we need to pick up for this issue and then bring back to the community developments as well as to appreciate the whole things. Right? if you notice from this angle perspective, from this slide that I showed to you just now, they are put the responsible consumptions and productions as a big picture, and then engage directly with the item 12 about sustainable cities and communities. So I try to interrelate these two key points to make sure that the most important is those who are engaged with decision making, as well as those who are should be responsible with all the production that they make, right? To make sure that all of them try to appreciate about the real estate as well as about the community outside there. All right. So I will continue about the development phase, real estate use phase, as well as the recovery phase. So I think based on these three phases, there are few potential research can be done locally, even globally, collaborations and so on. So under the development phase, I try to pick up with the words of developments. Developments is the first phase of the life cycle. It includes land use status change, the design stage, conclusions of construction, which make it particularly relevant to the planner outside there, designer, architect, developers, or material supplier, or even you are the one as a valuer or real estate, those who are engaged with the real estates. So in these particular things, right, under this development phase, right, there are few issues that I love to pick up, right, then hopefully you can think what and how we can improve ourselves, right. From this point of view, right, it's related to the land, the first one under the land developments. So for the land developments, right, this related to acquisitions, impact of the lands, right, impact of the lands, as well as price on the development cost, decisions, cost, as well as affordability. All right, and then the next one is establishing land ownership or tenure, right? And then the next one is effect on adequate land use management on communities. So this is another few points related to the land methods, land governance. Indigenous peoples, right? How about the indigenous people? So they need to think about needs for effective engagement and consultations. There's another point. To make sure that you are become those who are become responsible to the development, especially need to have a forced displacement and resettlement away from traditional land. Think about it, right? The issues related to potentials for negative economic, social, as well as environmental impact. Under the land governance, well, you need to think as a potential. There are issues that right to housing or adequate living conditions. You need to think about it as a potential decision making, right? You have to think assessing the potential impact on the existing settlements. Don't just pick up the project and then ambush every single things, right? Think wisely, right? They are the ecosystem over there. Appreciate them to make sure that everyone will contribute back to each other. Right. The next one, achieve balanced land agreements and protecting human rights. Right. Second point is about transparency and anti-corruptions. The big issue about bribery and facilitation payment, impact on costs, schedules, safety, reputations, as well as threat to communities and natural resources. This is so sad. Right. Big rigging, right? Bid rigging is another issue. Gap in structuring of tenders processes, leak of confidential information, as well as collisions between potential contractor. So the next point is actually respecting workers' rights. There are few points about it. There are about 4, 5 points, 6 points, right? Try within the issues occur outside there. The real issues occur outside there. Freedom associations, collective bargaining, fair treatments for unions workers, non-discriminations. Think about non-discriminations, occupational health and safety, right? Prevent fatalities and serious injuries, and as well as forced labor. You need to think about it. If you think this is part of the research that you need to contribute at your local place, you have to, this is few issues. This might be your problem statement to think about it, to do the observation. Right of migrant workers as well as child labors. Please, please think about how important the informations about integrations of real estate and community development. For the fourth point, under the development phases, they are about environmental stewardship. There are few points inside that one about the natural resource consumptions, energy conservations, right? Choice of design and constructions materials, biodiversity, waste and fly tipping or illegal dumping. Right, under these issues, right, this is totally involved not just about the developments in real estate, they will also affect about our climate exchange, right, climate change and climate actions, as well as the issue related to the potentials of sustainable cities and the good of communities. For the fifth point under the development phase, right, the quality of planning, design, and constructions. This is directly related to the real estate. Right? Construction material. Think about the issues of construction materials. Right? Safety testing report. Provide the real safety and testing report. Don't, engage yourself with uncertainties or not transparent with the report. Building codes needs to make sure the correct documentation compromising investment value, also adaptations of climate change and resilience, as well as refurbishment and recycling capability, as well as accreditation standards and their respective enforcement. So when it becomes to the real estate use phase, when they already ready and the developments have been ready and so on. Real estate use is the second phase of life cycle. It encompasses the periods of the initial occupations of a building throughout the durations of its use. Operations and maintenance, the business stakeholders community within real estate use phase is broad, with many organizations occupying and using real estate space in one form or another, like retail outlets, hotel, and so forth. It depends on the purpose of the developments. All right, under this phase, there are few issues that I try to come out based on the studies that have been made, as well as the professional development studies that have been found. The transparency and disclosure about the money laundering, about ineffective business decision making, undermining of investor confidence. Right. The second point about environmental stewardships, energy consumptions and carbon emissions, water management, waste management, how of these issues have been taken into consideration seriously during this space. If they are looking forward into this kind of information seriously, I'm pretty sure the developments in our area, the developments in global will be, all of them will be given of 6 star of 6 building 6 star of green building example, 5 star of green building practices example. But you can count with your fingers how many of them have been declared as green buildings. Number 3, within this phase, right, treatment of tenants and communities, right, isolations of feeling of lack, inclusions and belongings, at the point of discriminating access of lease of building, and so on. And the next point is about healthy, safety, and well-being of building occupants. Right, under these issues, access for persons with disability, addressing the barriers of independent living, access to water, sanitations, hygienes, right, indoor air quality, right, challenges of balancing indoor air quality with energy conservation measures. This is how I think all of the audience outside there, you have the points to pick up, right? You have the points to do some research. Even you have the capability outside there to improve, at least within our compound or within our power, within our community at least. Try to share, try to improve the ecosystem. And within the same phase of real estate use phase, point number 5 is about decent work and human rights within the value change. There are about 5 points over there about supply change, ensuring employment law and good practice are followed, vulnerability of temporary workers, as well about the working hours, the diversity and non-discriminations, forced labor, minimum working age and child labels. I need to think seriously on this matter. All right. For the points of recovery phase is the final phase of the building life cycles. Right? It happens when the building and its associated facilities are at the end of their economic physical life. The point in time, right, may be determined by a number of factors, such as changing user preference, right, dilapidations due to use of low quality material within the development phase, or poor maintenance throughout the real estate use phase, or other triggers include obsolescence, changes in planning, or even natural disaster, or even the changes of the community within that particular real estate use phase. This is all contribute to the issues related to responsibility, as well as to develop sustainable cities and communities. The first point is that strategic site use re-evaluations. You need to think about it. There's issue on this matter, right? Such an issue of potential displacement of residents and communities, corrupt practices, considerations of heritage sites. Point number 2, refurbishment and retrofitting, issues of complexity, skills and capacity, informal labors and safety, continuations of business operations use as well as another point of view. Under the recovery phases, all right, we need to think as well about waste management, resource conservation and recycling during demolitions, hazardous waste, reuse and recycling, wastewater, as well as health and safety. All right, so opportunities, limitations, issue of containing wastewater to avoid contaminating water sources, risk of low health and safety standard. This is all the issue that we need to consider between our development career. Point number 4 about brownfield regenerations, right? Brownfield regenerations, right? About the land soils, right? Issues of the land soils and land soil contaminations and public health issues, forced and child labels, as well as health safeties. And point number 5 is about land recovery and rehabilitations of sites, compulsory acquisitions, invasive and introduced species, soil contaminations and public health issues, right, as well as safe and health and safety issues. So this is a few points that we need to consider within the capacity of, to make sure the integrations between real estate and community development, to make sure we can provide a sustainable cities and communities. I will love to share with you guys with these diagrams that I found from World GBC. Right, mentions within the World Green Building Council, they already mentions about items number 11 as well as item number 12 to become at the top, among the top points that we need to consider in real estate. Meaning that the real estate integration between real estate and community developments is compulsory, is a must. To make sure this kind of collaborations, the integration will exist, must be started from us, because we are among the community. We are among the possible person to do the kickoff of this engagement, of these integrations. So for me, based on our experience and so on, this is a compulsory for us to do, at least appreciate the item number 11 as well as item number 12 about become a responsible community at least, and try to integrate between our responsibility in community with real estate, meaning that as simple as how we want to appreciate our own house, our own land, and our own neighbors. Try to pick up with this point of view first. So if you can see from here, there are about the changes from blurry, I do hope from blurry and become clearer from the angle of community's lifestyle, for the sake to come up with the ideas of integrations between real estate and community developments. Why I keep mentions about real estate and integration of real estate and community development? Because of, at the end of the day, even though SDG come out with a new idea of instead of 17 become of 24 and so on, if community ignore with all of them, community did not do anything, start anything, right? No one will be alert with these situations, right? So there are about 5 action per life cycle phase. I love to share with you guys. So at least from the few issues that we have already covered, so at least maybe you can pick up why I love to share with you with the words of from the one that should be responsible, because I think at the end of the day, all of us is the among the community, all of us should be responsible with all that decision that have been made by us. Maybe nowadays we are only the normal community. Maybe one day you outside there become a decision maker of your locality. So think about it, right? This is important to do some improvement, to do some kick-off, right? To appreciate all of the real estate outside there, as well as to appreciate our neighbors, our community, because we are among them. We are also the community, right? So for the first 5 actions per life cycle under the phase of developments, you can see over there, right? Enter into a open dialogue with members of the community at the point of land status change at the planning, design stage. Actively promote greater transparency and fight corruptions at the levels, at all levels, not just a level, at all levels. Make responsible supply chain choices that respect the protections of labor and human rights. Take responsibility with regards for the environment at the points of land status change and planning design stage, as well as deliver safe, high quality and well-designed buildings. For the second phase, right, another 5 actions for the phase of real estate use. Improve internal processes for identifying and addressing corrupt practice and for increasing overall corporate transparency. Make environment stewardship an integral part of daily operations of the building. Interact with tenants and local communities. Provide a safe and healthy work environment for employees. Ensure decent work conditions for employees and subcontracted workers being taken care clearly. And for the third point, third phase of 5 actions for this third phase, carry out a thorough economic, social, environmental, building and site re-evaluations. Create conditions for carbon mitigation and resource use minimization during refurbishment and redevelopments, as well as prepare independence method statements and risk assessment for safe and efficient waste management and demolition stage, as well as minimize impact of the environment and community during brownfield regenerations, as well as the last point is undertake an environmental impact assessment with regard to land recovery and rehabilitations. So from there, you can see the few responsible business in land construction and real estate use and investment. There are few points over there. I just pick up because of time limitations that have been signaled to me. I tried to pick up about few of them. I love to use the holistic approach to handling real estate data, informations, and corporate levels. Even not just corporate levels, real estate data and information at all levels, right? From community perspective, from decision-making perspective, from contractor perspective, from user perspective. Try to think, try to do more research on this part, try to appreciate our community within the local communities. All right, environmental stewardship, maybe the next one point that I would like to pick up is about responsible procurement choices that respect the protections of human, labor rights, as well as the environments. This is why the points of related about why the integrations of real estate and community development is important. Maybe the next point is about the delivery and operations of safe, high quality and healthy building. You need to think up to the levels of not just us to become healthy, as well as the building that we need to develop. So maybe if I'm not mistaken, this will be my last slide, maybe. All right, so the two questions, how well we contribute, right? Contribute to improve of our community ecosystem, and what we can do to make this goal a reality at our place. This is all for you. This is all come to you. And at the end of the day, it's also come back to me to make sure that I need to answer, because I already share my own my own knowledge and my own experience as well here. And at least start from small. Start from a step before we move for the next step. I'm pretty sure that this is my last slide. I'm pretty sure this sharing session will be a good sharing session, at least for all researchers outside there, to pick up with few more items to studies and to dig more information how we can help community outside there. I think with that, thank you. I return back to Ibu Prativi for these sessions.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sidi, for the wonderful presentations. Please give big applause to Dr. Sidi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think Dr. Sidi has highlighted some points related to life cycle assessment or life cycle phase in the real estate development. And he also has highlighted that there is a significant or important link or network between the community and also the real estate development. And last but not least, Dr. Sidi also has highlighted that there are three steps or phases for the life cycle: the development phase, real estate use phase, and the recovery phase as well. So before we continue to QA sessions, I would like to continue to the second speaker. I would like to invite Dr. Didit to deliver his presentations. You have approximately 40 minutes to deliver your speech.
Hello.
So to Dr. Didit, time is yours.
Thank you to Bu Ruli and Professor Noorsidi. Welcome to.
No worries.
Even it's only virtual. So actually, I'm new in ITS. So.
All right.
Okay. So anyone can see this? Okay.
Sure. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So to be honest, I'm kind of following Dr. Noorsidi title in the beginning of this program, actually.
Thank you.
You know, like, okay, the presenter have this title, and then I'm trying to catch up with this, and here we go. So welcome to my presentation. I would like to call it not like presentation, right? If Dr. Sidi said is sharing knowledge, I would like to say it is like I want to have a conversation with you, actually. Even now it's 50 people in this room. I really want to talk with you one by one, you know. because maybe Buruli will give me a sign, time up, okay.
Sure.
I will start my conversation then. So I will bring up the title with subtitle of why our lifestyle really matters. Include of the topic in the residential lifestyle and smart community. Okay, so I have a quiz, but unfortunately I don't have a door prize for you. Maybe you can ask the staff. So how smart are you? So please write in the chat box. What animal is it? Okay. What animal is it? By the colors, by the, you know, the pattern. Okay. So one people here. Pikachu. Oh my God. It's not even animal. Okay. Yeah. Pikachu. Okay. Any other? Yeah. Please. Anything is okay. Pikachu. Okay. Let's see. The one. Okay, next. Snake. Oh, no. Okay, next. Not really changed. Just a little bit changed, but can you guess it? How smart are you? Snake, not snake. Okay. Any others? By the colors. Butterfly. Oh, close. Okay. Okay, I'll make it bigger. This one. Mot. Okay. Okay, you are absolutely smart. This is elephant. So sorry. I'm so sorry. This is elephant. Okay. Okay. Next. This is the easiest. The last one. How smart are you? What animal is it? With the colors, so colorful. Yeah. Anyone can guess? What animal is it? Okay, write in chat box.
No
No.
clue, Dr. Didit.
Yeah, a clue. Okay, next clue. I'll make it bigger. Okay, how about this? Come on, it's not even animal, man. Okay, this is a dodo. Yeah, dodo is was extinct already from this earth, maybe, but we really hope there's a sign of his resurrection. I don't know, but it's made from plastic. It's made from our waste. It's made from garbage. It's an useless thing actually. This is the event of SDGs in Japan actually. Japan recently have a really intense campaign on the SDGs, and I was so lucky, and then I got the invitation of this GLS SDGs, so I said yes, why not? I'll give what I can, you know. Okay, thank you so much for your participation. Okay, but before, I would like to give some critics to SDGs. Even the SDGs member is not here, maybe. Yeah, the first is maybe why 2030, right? What next? Then there will be 2050, maybe 2100, maybe. I mean that we need a closer targets, really closer target. I mean, we have this 17 target, and then maybe we should at least achieve it at maybe next 2 years or 3 years. Of course, this is my critics. Anyone can a different opinion maybe. And number 2 is maybe the numbering. I like the number, you know, and the colors is cute. It's a yeah, it's a millennials. But labeling could be very dichotomized. You know, if we talk today, like we have a topic in number 11 today. Okay, so but actually it doesn't mean only we solve the problem in number 11. Okay, and also in the other in the other number and other issues, I think yeah, we need to find a more attractive way rather than numbering actually. Okay, and then no exact measure of how the program and the project achieve. Yeah, unlike the other agreement before, like they have at least 30% of reduction like this. They have a measurement of, for example, Professor Noorsidi talk about the buildings, the real estate. Do they have this measurement? I think is still debatable. Okay, I can claim maybe my design is fully SDGs, number 11, number 12, but it's just a claim only, right? And then the last one is maybe I think it's still just a wish, recommendation, still a suggestion, means that there's no penalties for not acting this agenda, right? So okay, maybe we can discuss later if you have more critics, or if you pro and cons. But I really support SDGs. I mean, I don't really care about the number. I don't really care about giving something, labeling something, but if everything talk about the sustainability, it will become our responsibility. Okay, even architect, even designer, even civil engineer or other engineer, sustainability will be our responsibility. Okay, so let's talk about the smart. Okay, in the beginning of time, smart means intelligent. Like I give you some example of picture in the beginning of this lecture, and then you guess from very less information, right? It's like we're asking to the Google, right? It's asking to the Google with only the keywords, but we can get all of the information, the whole information. And then the intelligence is becoming high technology, right? I mean, the smart meaning become shifting meaning. They have a shift meaning to become the high technology thing. And the other thing is recently smart mean the technology with the intelligence technology with the decision making. For example, we don't need to, we don't need to turn on and turn off the air conditioning, for example, in your room, as long as the sensor of the air conditioning can read the temperature in your room, for example. It means that the air conditioning system have a response, have a decision, have a data on this, and make a decision. Okay, then smart community. It's kind of difficult to talk about this because there's like I said before, there's a shifting meaning on the smart thing. Like recently, many things become eco, many things become smart. Many things become AI, like intelligence thing. Like they are selling something. It's a commercialized. But at this point, I would like to give some definition from Japan Alliance that they see that smart community is the next generation social system. This is the point, to energy and community, right? To energy and community. Actually, only energy and community, but it's a highly widely accepted on the technology that is sustainable. It is the answer for sustainability problem. Okay, next quiz. I know maybe Bu Ruli right now is working on his PhD in Hiroshima, right? So this is easy, a very easy quiz actually. We have Hiroshima here, and the quiz is name one other city targeted on 1945 bombing of Japan. Okay, let's see the chat. Nagasaki, okay. Everyone know? Okay, any other? No? Yeah, this is actually about my story of research actually. Okay, actually the name of the city is Kitakyushu. At the beginning, okay, at the beginning, the name, the primary target for the bombing in August 1945 is a Kitakyushu city, but US changed their target to Nagasaki. Because of what? At that time, Kitakyushu was obscured by fog, and air pollution. And since then, the US think that it's not clear enough to drop the bomb visually and not by the radar at that time actually. So they moved the target to Nagasaki. I'm so sorry with people of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but at that time we Indonesian have the opportunity to get our independence. Okay, and now actually I took my PhD, my doctoral in Kitakyushu actually, and now I'm still living here, waiting for the situation to be easier to go home to Indonesia. But I will tell you a story about the Kitakyushu, and that maybe will inspire Surabaya or other city in other country maybe. Kitakyushu before have a 7-color smoke. They call it 7-color smoke. It's not a rainbow, but it's really dangerous smoke that the color is like a rainbow, you know, and we see the sea of death here. But nowadays, after 2000, and even now, it's getting clear, and you know, they're like doing the reservation, the environment preservation on the bay, you know, like they digging the soil every years, like still continuing until now. And what is the reason why Kitakyushu become from this color smoke to become this very beautiful and clear sky and the blue sky right now? And actually the problem is because of the housewife. The housewife at that time feels their children, their family get sick and have you know, many like you know, like they cannot have a healthy life every day. But the problem is their husband is working on this fabric, this working on this company. Actually the smoke is came from the company here. It's a big steel company and it still exists until now, but some is moved. Okay, so at that time really they are facing a dilemma between the economic of their family and rather than doing some protest to the government. But they choose to do a protest to government. This is we call the power of housewife, or Indonesia maybe the power of emak-emak, yeah? The power of emak-emak. So at the time I decide to after I learned some background about the city of Kitakyushu, then I tried to grasp some understanding about what is really the problem of our environment. Then I find the situation that a lifestyle become really matters in our life, you know. So there's a 4 point here. Our lifestyle has changed many times, of course. Even me, I'm 34 right now. During my age, you know, I feel like there's many things changed, you know. Before we don't have like smartphone, we don't have like this video call conversation, like things change for every maybe 5 years or maybe closer than that recently. And every 1 year, every the technology is very fast. Okay, and the second, the lifestyle contribute to the environment. Of course, our lifestyle, what we do, our routine, our daily things is daily life is consuming something, you know, we are wasting something. And third, our lifestyle moving to the higher quality of life. Yeah, because of the quality of life, every one of you, for example, before, let's take maybe around 10 years before, like we don't have a car, we don't have a bicycle, not bicycle, we don't have a house, we don't have a house with the air conditioning system. But right now we're trying to get a more comfort life. We are becoming targeting, we are moving to the higher quality of life. So of course it's part of our lifestyle. And then the last one, lifestyle is then it's connected with before. Our lifestyle are become uncontrollable, and it's very dangerous and really dangerous if we don't take an action. So maybe a bit story about my research studies in Japan. Actually, I came to Japan in 2011. 2011, after I do some work in the consultant in Indonesia. Then I've got the scholarship here, and until that time I still think that Indonesia is fine. There's no big deal, there's no big problem with Indonesia. I can live, I can feel like I can eat the very delicious food, I can see my family, we have a happy life in Indonesia, like if we compare to the right now, many conflict area, many other countries still fighting for their freedom. Like we have the freedom, we have almost everything what we got in Indonesia. But the story is different when I came to Japan, that um, every part of the city is clean, every part of the city is beautiful. I mean, beautiful in another way, not I don't know how to explain, but as you know, maybe Japan has more advanced if we compare to Indonesia in some part. At that time, I realized that, for example, like ambitious project of the government, like they are building an eco city, they are building a smart cities, smart communities, and eco house and low carbon society and anything. And then I feel like, oh my God, my country is I don't know, maybe 30 years left behind, or I don't know, maybe 50 years left behind at that time. Then I think like, okay, I decide my research. I will do some studies about anything related to the environment. Yeah, because it's really a part of our responsibility as a human being. And I was very lucky that I stay in Kitakyushu University at that time. I accepted in Kitakyushu University, and I was also very lucky. Kitakyushu have a sister city with Surabaya. So at that time I see the our major at that time, Burisma, face in the Kitakyushu museum. Like an environmental museum in Kitakyushu. So it's a bit surprised, and then I'm trying hard to get my way to do something more to environment in Indonesia. This is my professor. He's very kind. Like he's like my father here. Like if I have problem, I will just always call him there. He have some solution. Okay, let's get to the point. So this is the area of our research before. So I decided to do some research on the not exactly smart community, but this is area called smart community, Kitakyushu smart community, and this is include many commercial building, like like shopping mall. There's a shopping mall here, and then natural history museum, and then we have a gas station, solar panel shop, and cogeneration system, and anything in this area. But I at that time I focused on this building. It's not here, but it's part of this smart house. They have a fuel cell, they have a condominium in it. These two building is a part of our research at the time. So I start to researching about what really happened in the housing, in the residential sector at that time. And I think that this problem will probably become a main topic in Indonesia, maybe at least maybe now, maybe 10 or 20 years from now, right? Because at the time, Japan energy consumption is become a problem in Japan, after the great earthquake. So they cut the electricity from the nuclear power plant because of the damage the Fukushima at the time. And I feel also that time, actually that's the first time I feel such a big earthquake and tsunami, and luckily I'm safe. At that time I was in Tokyo, and it was really scary. And then they changed a lot until now. This is the old data, but I want to show that before that disaster, Japan have a very, very big um, distribution on the commercial and residential sector of energy consumption here. And if we see bigger in energy consumption of the houses, the biggest one maybe the hot water supply. No, the electricity household, and the second is hot water supply. Right, this is become, Japanese house is more like they're trying to make everything electronic, electronification. There's an electronification of the appliance, the house appliance. Like maybe from now Indonesia is increasing, like before people don't really care about having a washing machine in your home, right? You don't really care about having air conditioning system. But now, since the economic is good, then you get to find a better quality of life, of course. Then you buy an oven, you buy an air conditioning, and many stuff like electrical stuff, and it will imply to the our total energy consumption. Then the other is Japan is really like to go to onsen. Onsen, it's a hot water. So I mean, this is not onsen in the house, but normally they always use the hot water for everyday shower. Like some friends of us came to Indonesia at that time, and we don't have a hot water actually. And we feel normal at that time, but Japanese people like feel, oh my god, there's no hot water, like it's a big problem for them. Yeah. And also that's when I start to learn about the housing in Japan. So many types of housing is totally different with our country. Here is maybe more than 50% is apartment, right? Multiple housing rather than this detached housing, because the land price is very high, and not also I don't know, maybe the government give us some support to public housing like this. And then I start my research with the questionnaire, giving the question. At that time we don't have a Google at this like now, but even we do like a web questionnaire right now. Actually Japan is very manual people, like they don't really like a digital thing, like they do a very traditional thing, like writing in the paper and else. So it was very, very tiring doing this research, because you have to put all of this data in the computer one by one. Yeah. And then I also do some research in Bangkok at the time, not always in Japan, Bangkok, Indonesia, and Shanghai and other city. And this is the research in EcoHouse of Japan. So we targeting the buildings, and we collect the data, and based off from this data, we also doing some analysis. And the other hand, we also do a hearing and questionnaire. And then this data is collected, and we have make some simulation assumption like that. Like for example, this is the eco house in Japan. The the problem is, what if we make the same building in the other area of Japan, or maybe in Indonesia, or Malaysia, or Thailand, like that. We do like that. At that time, we have a different target of cities. We have a Kita Kyushu, of course. We have a Jakarta, Bandung, and Semarang. At that time, I don't really have a friends in Surabaya, so Surabaya is not included here, and we have Bangkok and Shanghai. So the point here is the occupancy rate of weekday activities in residential housing. This is the result of that time questionnaire we have done to the for every country is about 100 for every country, and we find very different, occupation rate of each country. Like averagely Indonesia have like this. It really depend on also the area, also the time also maybe, but the time is not so related, since they have a routine like this. For example, Japan and China, they have a very, very different. China and Indonesia may be similar. I don't know why. Maybe the people culture is close. Maybe, I don't know. And Thailand also have a very different pattern in here. I mean that this is very interesting because it's related with the occupancy rate during the weekday between Monday to Saturday. Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. Yeah. And then people like this is their working time, maybe right? This is working time, and some of them is go home already, maybe their kids, and some of them will go outside again, right? So they maybe they go home in the middle day, and then they go outside again, maybe like they are studying on the other place. I don't know. Mostly it's the kids in here. Also, China have the same pattern with Indonesia, but situation is different with Thailand and Japan. In Thailand, if you go outside the house in the beginning of the day, you will become lazy to go home in the middle of the day. Like just wait until the sun disappear, and then you get back to the home. Same as Japan, they like to work, they like to have a party after working hours, like that. So the occupation rate is really low in here. And then we also travel to this country. We like to see the situation of the real situation of each country, and it's match, it's really match in some part. Like Indonesia, many people at the daytime, but before Maghrib they went to go home, like before the sunset, where they go home, and others. But different with Thailand. At the time, Thai people like do some activity after the works, and etc. And Japan also. We have also gathered the questionnaires, like the ownership of air conditioning system here. Indonesia have at that time Indonesia have a low ownership of air conditioning system if compared to China and Thailand, because I don't know, maybe the quality of comfort, everyone think that you cannot live in Thai without air conditioning, so it's become a primary appliance in there. So on the other, and then maybe I will not talk about this because it's research before, but what I want to show you is we have like similar amounts of electricity consumption between Indonesia and Thai, because maybe we are close in geographical condition, maybe, but I think that Thai, in some part of Thai, have they have like a cooler temperature in some part, but in the Bangkok area they have a very, very high temperature like in Jakarta or Surabaya maybe. Also, we do like influential factors, and we find that the most influential factors of these three countries is all about related to the lifestyle of their host member, their family member. Like for example, in Indonesia, this is the empirical equation we do. Like we can find the most important factor, the most influential factor by using some equations, and we find that air conditioning system, family member, refrigerator system, and refrigerator fan use, and cooking pattern and TV use is the most contributed to the energy consumption in the house. It's almost same with China. They have a more family member, and then but the difference is there's income here. So the richer you are, you will spend more energy use. Yeah, in China and Thailand also, they have a floor area different here, and they have cooking also. It's quite kind of interesting here. And then I would like to do maybe in the future I would like to do almost the same questionnaire to some area of Indonesia, and this is just part of it, and really hope to we can work together on this, right? So let's get back to this, and then I also stay in this house for at least 1 year at that time. This is a museum actually. This is not a house. This is not ordinary house. So Japan have 21 of eco house models. So I think this is a good approach of Japan, how to campaign the eco house, the eco things to all of the country, all part of the countries. Like I think we Indonesia have a potential to do this. Like they have a local architectural things like, but they're trying to adapt the new technology, like this car, this H2O cars, like they don't need electricity here, they don't need gasoline here, they only charge with the water, with the water, because H2O. This is connected because this car is giving the electricity to the house, not the house giving to the car. Okay, time. And also we stay in this house, and then we rent actually. Some we bought, some are renting. We bring up this appliance to this house, because this house is actually just a model house, so we cannot do everything without appliance at that time. So we decide to buy and put it in the house, and then we stay for 1 year. I mean, 1 year is like when the museum is closed, we stay at there, So every week we stay at this house, like every Saturday and Sunday only, for period of 1 year. This is very at that time is very advanced technology used in this house. Like they have a floor heating system. Like you enter the house in the winter, and your feet is directly become warmer, and it's very comfort. And they have, of course, solar PV, and this is the specific technology they have. Like they can control the passive and active technology. Also they have a cool and hot tube in the base of the house. Okay, so we find that we do many measurements. We have like during the summer we do this, and the result is like this. Like this house is very succeed in the summer because the energy use is very low. But the problem is the house have a problem in the winter. Like the energy use is double more time, like maybe 3 or 4 times higher. And the investigation also we do with many case at that time. So we act like a family in this house. And then the other research is we focus on the smart community housing. So this is apartment housing. So we have 12 families here, and then we spend some dialogue with them, and this is what we got. The occupancy is totally different. Also, it's the same. Like even the occupancy is going down, the energy use is not so much change. That's the problem actually. So what I found in this, may I conclude, is the lifestyle. If the lifestyle follows the technology, it will become a comfort, you know. But on the other hand, if the technology can follow the lifestyle, it become a control. So there's a comfort and control that we have to achieve, because if only the comfort, the energy use will become so uncontrollable, and that's the problem actually in Japan case. Even we have a very high technology housing, have very high technology appliance, but the problem is our control of the lifestyle itself. And then I give some prospect to Indonesian. Maybe this is the last. I have 4 points of Indonesian solution. Maybe next year it could be different. First, the education effectiveness. Like for now, even the demonstration project in Indonesia is mainly brought up from the foreign country like Japan. This one in Japan is building something in Indonesia, and I think like we should stop to become a consumer. Like we need a young educated generation to go home to the hometown. Like we need to build our hometown there, because the main problem is our hometown actually, maybe because there's no people there to contribute to the environment. Also the digitalization. I think in Indonesia the meaning of smart is still something that look very high technology, but actually it's only the digitalization. It's not even smart, I think. So we need a database management to make it decision making. Like we decide to do the home energy. We put the limit on the home energy, for example, like that. And then the other challenge is the rivalry competition among the companies. Right now we buy for every appliance, like we have Toshiba, we have like other maker, we have a Panasonic, and else we have but it's not connected, it's useless. Even the house is eco, even the house is smart, but our electric appliance is different each other. It's hard to manage. Like for example, recently Google have a collaboration with LG to build a Google Home to connected each other. I think that's a good opportunity for Indonesia. And this is maybe some sensitive issues, like we should rethinking smart different with other countries. Like, okay, Japan have their own, like they are very modern society, but we Indonesia have a potential of many cultures. We have a traditional, I don't like to call it traditional actually, but it's originally Indonesia actually. Like they have a wooden house that was really sustainable, I think. And you see these people like they're sitting in the front of house that made from bamboo. And also in Bali we have this kind of very very like green village. Like, so the local wisdom, religious and spiritual motivation could be our point of start to change, to become another level of taking this smart community. Like it's not always about high technology. And the last one, I give you some example. For example, approach to the motivate the religious people. For example, I'm a Muslim, so I will give only from Quran. Of course, in the other religious, we have a sixth religion in Indonesia. So for example, in the Quran, this God even said that the earth and sea, we have destroyed the earth and sea, and because of that, maybe He will. God may make them taste the consequence of their action. Not this. I'm not focusing on the consequence, but even I want to say that even religion talk about the earth and sea. The earth and sea always talk about how we human make a destroy our environment. So we have to change our lifestyle, I think. So we need to make a movement together. So where should we start? So this is also the closing. Change our lifestyle and please change the way we treat the earth. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Didit. May we give applause to Dr. Didit as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for amazing knowledge sharing, because your presentations have successfully made me missing Japan a lot. All right. Okay, so thank you so much to both speakers. Because we have limited time, so I would like to continue to QA sessions. Here, do we have any questions from the participants? All right, we already have one questions from Nabila Ramanindita. Nabila Ramanindita from Architecture Department. I think I would like to invite Nabila. Do you want to ask directly to the speakers, please, Nabila?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hello, Nabila.
Hello.
Okay, Nabila. Okay, Nabila, please, you can ask directly to the speaker.
So I want to ask to Mr. Didit. I have read, I have read some article that said that I want to ask why do people in Tokyo must pay water like in Indonesia PDAM or air ledeng every 2 months, not every month, mostly in Tokyo. And second question,
very specific question.
It is from an effect from design of apartment only in Tokyo or another city?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nabila, for the questions. I think it's not only in Tokyo, because where I was staying in Hiroshima, I also paid once in 2 months. Yes. Okay, Dr. Didit, please.
Yeah. It's a good question, but unfortunately, I don't have a really maybe right answer. I also pay the water to one time in 2 months, but maybe it's depend on the management of the company, like we not only have one company in Japan to manage the water, like for example, Indonesia, we have only PDAM, right? We only have a PDAM, but we have a PLN also in Indonesia, manage about the electricity. But in Japan, there's so many private sector included, like maybe 15 or I don't know, maybe more, maybe 30, managing all the need of the people in Japan. And the reason why is maybe I think it's because of the management thing. I think it's only about the economical, like they have the water system is not directly also this is the different thing. Maybe the water they took is mostly from the surface water, like from lake, from the river and else. But in Indonesia the problem is people taking the water from their own land, like they have a very deep pipe touching to the ground of the land, and that's really dangerous for us actually, and it's uncontrollable, like I said. Like, but in the other way, if we depend on the PDAM, like the company, the water company, the infrastructure is not ready yet for this population. I'm so sorry, I don't have an exact answer for that, but I think that is my answer, Nadia. Nabila.
All right, thank you, Dr.
Hello?
Didit. Yeah, Nabila, apologize because yeah, it's also I was also curious when I was staying there, but yeah, the thing is like that in I think in all cities, not only in Tokyo or Kitakyushu. All right, thank you for the questions, Nabila. And then, do we have any more questions, or is there any participants wants to ask directly to the speakers? You may drop your questions through the chat box or using the raise hand button. Okay, while we are waiting for another questions, I would like to ask very simple questions actually to Dr. Sidi. As you have mentioned, in general, there are, if I am not mistaken, there are 3 steps or 2 phases for the real estate life cycle. Okay. But the world is changing. Like at the moment, we are facing the pandemic, the global pandemic that hasn't over up to now. So, do you think that this pandemic may give any influence on the life cycle of probably not only real estate development, any other developments?
Thank you, Ibu Prativi, for the questions. Yes. This is a good question for you, for your information. And this is a hot topic as well, happen not just within these sharing sessions, but also in my other sharing sessions as well. So what I may say that when we look into the pandemic situations, it will give big impact to the whole global developments. Right. In the meantime, when I mentioned about the whole global developments, it's not just on real estate part, but also related to the process that engage to any activities as long as they engage to the human. And if I'm not mistaken, there are one studies mentions about the corona itself actually previously engaged with the cats. So I'm not sure about that one, but that's an interesting topic as well. So in this situation, back to these questions, I may say that yes, it will give big impact to real estate and as well as the development phases that involve. If for your informations, if I'm not mistaken, they are now looking forward to the next levels of the digital world. All right. So in that particular situations, when it comes to the digital world, they will also make sure that the process of to make sure the involvement related to community and real estate will be up to the next levels of we call as pre-developments or pre-real estate, or even there will be a crucial part between these 3 phases. There will be another 2 crucial part, which is pre-development phase and post recovery phase. So because of the pandemic, they need to do like like preventive as well as preparation what's next to be happen in that particular situation. So maybe that's a good question. Seriously, that's a good question, and perhaps I can give some answer lah for that one.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sidi.
No worries.
Okay, and yeah, do we have any other questions from the participants to both speakers?
Can the speaker ask to the speaker?
Sure, why not?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, because I really like to. We hope we have a collaboration in the future.
Sure, no worries.
Like,
Looking forward for that one as well.
yeah, of course. I really want, and also all of the participants here is.
Yeah, we open to
This is
all
the
the participants.
time for a collaboration rather than, we talking about Indonesia, Malaysia, which one is more developed. It's not time to do that. Like,
Yeah.
Professor Noorsidi, what do you think about the real estate after the pandemic? Is this pandemic have a really a big impact to the real estate that you may be concerned about? What do you
Hey,
think?
thank you, Dr. Didit, for that questions. Okay, in this particular question, we need to reflect back to the global economic situations, all right? Because of why I said about global economic situations, because when it comes to the real estate, it depends on you, which angle that you look into it. If you are the investor, then you can see from the angle of investor. If you are the potential buyer or the one that you want to collect all the asset by yourself, for yourself, then you need to look into that particular situation. Why again I mentioned that it reflects to the global economy? Because the real estate themselves involve the value. Then the value is actually engaged with the curve of economics of supply and demands. All right. And when it comes back to your questions about after the pandemic, to be frank with you, with the current situations, if I may say, most all of the global real estate currently feel the struggles of engaging or managing their asset, their real estate, because of why? Again, supply and demand, because of how to maintain that physical and how the transitions happen from the physical engagement towards the digital world. That is why, if I may say, be frank, yes, after the pandemic, most of the professional practices outside there looking forward to duplicate, or we call as one of the research called, if I'm not mistaken, twin digital tech. You need to change the physical to the digital world. And they try to create the value and supply demand through that digital world, to at least the value still can appreciate the physical asset of the real estate.
Yeah.
So that's another coming. There are few research is actually ongoing about that one. Yeah. So for the first point, yes, give big impact because of the pandemic. From the point of investor, their concerns about economic volatility and the engagement between countries to countries, and then the foreign exchange, and then in local situations, yes, the struggle to get let's say the simple situations of like if you have the property, right? So it's quite difficult to get a new tenant, example, because of the pandemic. There are two situations. You yourself quite worried to accept the tenants, and then tenants have no idea the source of income to pay for the tenancy rate, right? So the next step that we are trying to, as a professional point of view, to handle this kind of situations, is actually to create awareness about those who are involved in real estate professions, to make sure that they create an awareness to all the community, to make sure that after the pandemic solved, example, perhaps, pray to God, after the pandemic settles, right, at least we are ready to adopt a new engagement, new scenario, new activities, and so on. So for those who are looking forward to buy a new property and so on, I think I may say yes, this is the time. If you have capital, if you have cap, this is the time. But you need to think more than normal practice.
Yeah, it's
Meaning that
cheaper
you
right now.
yes, you need to synchronize and think more because of the current scenario, right? To make sure that you are actually really
Yeah.
gain asset, not gain liability,
Yeah,
right?
many unpredictable things will come in.
Yes, yes, exactly. So even me and my team as a professional, let's say we try to divide to another as a professional, real
Yeah.
estate professional, we are currently need to create an alternative way of gaining asset, as well as to make sure that we are not caught with liabilities with
Mm,
our current assets.
mm. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Like like maybe for example, in the sector of the I talk about the energy use, for example.
Yes.
The people before this pandemic, we focus on how to make it sustainable, like how to lower the energy use in the house, how to make it a low carbon society.
Exactly.
Then the pandemic comes, boom, and then you know it's
Yeah.
like you should open the door even you turn on the air conditioning, like,
Betul.
oh my god, it's not efficient anymore, like
Yeah.
we have a two right now, we have two
Mm.
problems, which is
Yeah.
a pandemic and sustainability. Maybe in the
Exactly.
future we have three, maybe we have a war. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, right.
At this moment, we can say we are actually in the war situations
Yeah,
that
in the
we can't.
middle of war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
uh,
nice
we should
discussion.
prepare for the unpredicted situation.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should prepare for uncertainty. Even we should advise ourselves. We should prep ourselves to make sure for every decision that we are going to take, we have alternative for that potential position decision that we are going to take.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Maybe
Exactly.
we can have another spot of sharing, Dr.
Oh,
Didit.
Sure.
thank you, Professor.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
to talk with you.
All right.
No worries.
And probably one short question from me, because in my understanding, your Dr. Lidit's study was very interesting. I mean, did you share or give your questionnaire only to the head of the family, or
Oh,
any family member can answer the questions? And did you also try to
yeah,
probably check based
yeah,
on the results based on the gender?
yeah. It's I got this from my professor actually. If you want to get the very effective feedback, you go to the school. You go to the school. It's an elementary school, and give this envelope, give this paper to each of the student. Like, give it. I mean, we give the big questionnaire box to the head of the school first, and the head of the school give it to the first class, second class, until sixth class, and then the teacher will give it like homework. Homework for the students. Okay, students, we have a homework to do this. And then please give it to your mom. Okay, your mom or your dad, anyone is okay. At least they can read the kanji and they can answer the question. They know the energy consumption. Like in Japan, we have a paper of energy consumption for every house. Like, so every housewife know about that. So it's really effective way to get the answer. Like we do printing like 100 of a questionnaire, and then for one school, and we go to that school only, because in here elementary school is many student, not like Indonesia. It's hundreds, more than 100 student here. and then they give it back to us, and then it's like we're not doing nothing until the questionnaire coming to us. And because it's it's manually written, we have to move 1, 2, 3. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Didit.
Thank you.
So I think because of the time limit, I have to finish the QA sessions. Once again, thank you so much for both speakers. I hope that the sharing sessions can broaden our knowledge related to this topic. And I hope everyone is still safe, and also you can keep your health. And we'll meet again in the next GLS SDG session. So I return the time to the MC for today's session. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Guruli. Thank you, Guruli.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prof. Noorsidi.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you to you too, Dr. Didit.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Ibu Ruli, for conducting this amazing session. And thank you very much to our speakers for the excellent lecture today. Please give applause to our speakers and moderator by using the Zoom reaction feature. Furthermore, we would like to present a certificate awarding to our speakers and also our moderator today. First is the certificate for Associate Professor Dr. Noorsidi Aizudin Mahler. Next is the certificate for Dr. Didit Novianto. And last but not least is the certificate for Ibu Ruli Pratiwi Setiawan, PhD. Once again, thank you very much to Dr. Noorsidi, Dr. Didit, and Ibu Ruli for your availability on today's guest lecture series. We believe that your lecture will be useful for all of the participants. Before we end our lecture today, we invite you all participants, as well as the honorable speakers and moderator, to take a group photo. To all participants, please open your camera. Now we will wait a few moments until the participants open their camera. And since we have 2 slides here, so please keep your smile until we finish our group photo session.
Smile.
Okay, since some of the participants are ready, so I think we should start the photo session, and I will count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Once again for the next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we have finished our group photo. And then for the participants, please fill the feedback form through the link bit.ly/feedbackgls that you can also see on the Zoom chat room. The deadline for filling the feedback form is 1 hour after we finish this session. And we want to remind you that the participants who will get the stamp for it and e-certificate are the participants who come on time, join this event until the end, and also fill the feedback form. Finally, we have reached the end of today's guest lecture series, and we sincerely apologize for any mistakes that we may have made in presenting as Masters of Ceremony and Committee. Thank you very much to our honorable speakers, moderator, and all participants for the attention and cooperation. We will see you in the next guest lecture series on SDGs, as we will have 2 parallel sessions on Tuesday, 15 June 2021. First is the session that will be delivered by Dr. Sherati Amihan, Dr. Sherati Amihan and Dr. Amina Sibagatullah, and the second session is delivered by Associate Professor Robia Ahmad. And we will also have another 2 parallel sessions on Wednesday, 16 June. So please stay tuned on our social media for another information. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum. Good afternoon. Goodbye and thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you, my
everyone.
students. There's my students.
All the best
Our
to all.
colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Prof.
for
Sidi.
Okay.
Prof. Noorsidi and also Dr. Didit, also Buruli as the moderator and the participant. Allow me to end this session and see you on the next GLS on SDGs. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.